Hi guys. Hey guys, I am at home alone. You know what that means? Cleaning and showing off artifacts. You guys might have seen this wonderful thing here, 1700 small sword. I will maybe be cleaning it, but I have a different one in the basement I'll be cleaning later. But I wanted to show off some other cool artifacts that I recently acquired. This. So you guys know I got the two museums that, thus two collections that I'm really looking forward to and adding to. One of them is a fishing museum and cultural center. So I picked up a few cool artifacts I want to show off for that. First is this little tin right here. Very cool. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to actually look at this thoroughly. But it is a tin that has, and as you read the back of it, which is something that I will, do later, I suppose. This is fishing line wax. And it feels like it's half full. I haven't opened it yet, and I don't know if I want to. I'm kind of scared. But this is the kind of stuff this means that this tin was used before artificial monofilament line that we use today. Oh my god. That's a needy cat. So this is the stuff that if you had like linen or cotton or silk line, this is the stuff that you would line your line with so it became waterproof. You'd run your line through it, any other fishing equipment that you wanted to make waterproof, which is pretty cool. I also came across this. And this is a net. It's missing the pole, which would have attached right here. But I don't have an age for this. I'm thinking early 1900s. But the cool thing is, it's collapsible. So like, see how it's kind of this weird oblong oval shape? Well, if you push it, I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. You push it, and then I don't know if you guys can see it. You lock that together. And now it's locked in its open position. And I think that's pretty cool. I love this kind of stuff that, come on. It's hard to do while holding a phone. There we go. I love to do that. Ben wants to see the foils on my back wall. Okay, I'll do that. But anyway, I love this stuff. I came across, it was actually buying some equipment. I was going around. The light is burned out in this room, so it'll be dark. But I was going around Grand Rapids area picking up stuff I found on Facebook Marketplace, and came across this group that just said, hey, drive around back to the back building, and I'll meet you back there. I was actually picking up that pillar that I thought I'd be putting some artifacts on. So I drove back. It was terrifying driving back there. It was the middle of the night. Not in the middle of the night. It was dark. And I came to the back building. And they said, what are you going to make? They thought I was going to make a table out of that pillar. And I was like, no, I'm going to use, I run museums, I have collections. They're like, wait, you like history? I was like, yeah. I'm like, come on in. So I went into the building, this outbuilding behind their house. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was like they had a private antique store in there. Everything had a price tag. I don't know what their goal was with it, but it was really cool. So I dug around their like private, antique store for a while, which was a lot of fun. Chatted with them. It was great making connections. All right, so here's my back wall display. So I've got 3 portraits, which I colorized and photoshopped. We have Thomas Hoyer Monstery with my favorite. I don't know if you guys see it there. The anime-esque cane display of all the parries that you can do with the cane. I love it, so I photoshopped that on the back. We also have on the other side here, we have Alfred Hutton with just a very standard and very awesome pose there in the back. It turned out very faded, or I suppose you'd say pixelated, so oh well, but I really like that. And then in the center is my boy, Thomas Stevens, with just a very standard picture of a parry and a cut back there. But I love this guy. Oh my god, I want to get his outfit, and I especially want to get his sword in this image, which is, as far as I can tell, what do they call it? An 1861 Tiffany import sword. So this guy was English, moved to the United States, was the colonel of the 2nd Wisconsin Cavalry Regiment, basically was, I'm assuming, he didn't like the fact that most of the Union swords were of French, origin, or so the design was. So he got the Tiffany import, which is probably the most common English-designed sword used in the Civil War, ludicrously less popular than the others, but he picked it because he's an Englishman. That's probably what he was trained with. Awesome guy. Love him. Probably going to go to Wisconsin to do some hands-on research. I recently discovered a few primary sources of the 2nd Wisconsin Cavalry, his regiment. I'm going to read those soon. But, talking about the foils up here, believe it or not, these 4 foils were not what I intentionally bought. These 4 came with a 5th sword, which is down in the basement, probably my most unique gymnasium saber, and I can show it later on in the video when I'm down in the workshop. It's awaiting cleaning. But these 4 foils came from Paris, France, which is the one that I... So there's some cool things about it. This one in particular is what I'm most appreciative of. See if I can take it down. Yeah, it's in the front. So, one thing you can tell is the tips are not rectangular but square, which indicates a particular age. I'm not familiar with the details of identifying a foil, but I love this one because the entire guard, very unusually, is a solid piece of metal in that figure 8 design, which is a rarity, which I really like. So this particular one's probably the most unique out of all of the 4, which came in a set of 5 with that 5th saber. And then I also like this one over here, which I will definitely at some point clean up. Let me see if I can, there you go, get that on screen. It has a break in the guard up here by my thumb, but it does have the leather backing to it, which is very neat. It also has the brass pommel instead of a iron pommel, or steel, I suppose. They have some stamps on it, but a lot of the stamping is worn off. I would argue these are probably from the mid-1500s, but not 1500s, sorry, 1800s. Probably towards the end of the 1800s. But identifying foils is not my specialty yet. They kind of went their separate ways around the late 1800s from other swords. But nonetheless, they're very cool, and eventually one day I'll restore those. But for now, they are hanging on my wall. I also have my incomplete sword halo. It usually has 4 more swords. 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. But I took most of those down for cleaning, so I have one. Gymnasium saber here. Another one here, which has been refurbished. Not by me, nor did I wish it, but it has been. So I occasionally use it for sparring, which is kind of neat. I like that. It's not that old. It's probably 1910s. And then I also have a replica claymore up there just for the heck of it. But one thing that's neat, I had another artifact I want to show you guys that I picked up yesterday. This is for the fishing museum. And that is this guy right here. This is a gaff hook, which is pretty neat. And this relates to a sword. Bear with me, okay? It relates to that one on the wall there. So, in any case, the gaff hook, you have a large fish from a boat. You want to help bring it on board. You just hook it and pull it up. Yeah. Solid figure 8s are hard to find. That is definitely true, Ben. Yes. Ben, I am appreciative that you appreciate my adventure in antiques that I found yesterday, which is pretty cool. I actually picked up a barrel of them too, which is still out in my car. I haven't pulled it in yet. It's like a plywood molded barrel. It has markings on it, but I didn't get the opportunity to look it over. I was too enthralled by all their other artifacts that they had. Nonetheless, gaff hook, pretty cool. I like it. And there's no markings on it. There's no age. There's no identifying characteristics. It's just a piece of iron roped on to a piece of bamboo, which could have been anywhere. It could have been anywhere from the 1700s to the 1900s. But one thing that's neat is if you look at the grip here, the rope that they have on the grip, it's pretty identifying because you can actually look at the sword, which can be dated, and I believe this one was from the 1890s, so I'll have to double check. Very similar rope used to grip the sword as to grip the gaff hook. I guess it's probably difficult for you guys to see via live stream, but I really like it. I think that's cool. And the gaff hook is a unique one. I don't have this in my artifact collection for the fishing museum yet. Picked up a couple cool things. This is a surprise for my longsword students. Don't do that. Don't deal with that yet. This is just literally a box right here of just tons and tons of fishing artifacts. I live streamed some of them. Some of them I didn't. Look at like this box of bobbers. There's no point in that. There's some cool things in there, but not anything especially cool. But there was something. I think it's this. No, not that one. This one? Might be this one. This is a yes. This is this one. This is a fishing hook tube. This is what they used to sell them in. And for example, this one here has more markings on it, like the advertisements on it. But this particular one is gold, and I actually showed this on a live stream my last live stream. But what's cool about the one that's in here is this one does not have. Jeez, I don't know if you guys can focus on that. Let me try to. There we go. This one does not have a loop. You can see at the top there, like a normal fishhook does, or at least a modern normal fishhook. This one has a flattened, or flatted, as I've heard them described as, fishhook head. Come on, focus. There we go. And the cool part about it is it has abbreviations in it, which is RT on this one. And I tried doing some preliminary research on a fishhook maker called RT, with no luck. But the cool thing I love that. It's a mystery. I love these historical mysteries. It's an artifact, fairly important. It had a beautifully tied line onto it, and wonder what happened to the rest of it. Beautiful. But I didn't find any research, so it's a mystery, and I love that kind of stuff. So I've got a couple more cool artifacts I've never shown off before. They just arrived. So we're going to make our way towards the workshop, but I thought I'd show off some of my artifact or exhibits that I have very quickly. Got this. This was my attempt at which you might see later if I make the video, attempt at like fancy, high-quality video making. Other online fencing museums do it, and I am jealous, so I'm trying it out. I've got my World War I little display up here with bayonet manuals, drill regulations, just other bunch of cool stuff. An actual photograph of guys doing bayonet drill, not like a postcard where there are dozens of them made. This is one and only, which I think is cool. I have a few holiday postcards. There's one upstairs that I haven't done, and there's technically one over here that is also holiday. But here is a few of my Civil War items, specifically 2 different editions of Thomas Stevens' book. I also have a bayonet combat manual. There's a second one hiding out here somewhere that has the name of a captain in it, and just a bunch of really cool stuff. It has that captain's name in it, and it was actually returned to him the day before his death, which I think is fantastic. This is foreshadowing right here for what I'm going to show you in a little bit. This is a small portion of my Mensur fencing exhibit. Fencing is probably the wrong term for Mensur, but it's cool to look it up, and those of you who do know it, you'll know how cool it is. Also, I do like this Carte Viste here, which again is not mass-produced like these postcards are, so I like that. Small Mexican exhibit. Got a Mexican officer, probably with this sword, not that exact sword, but that model, which is a Mexican knockoff of the U.S. model 1840, used in the Civil War, but that one was not. We have my Navy fencing exhibit right here. Obviously, it's smaller than I want it to be. Navy practice is pretty cool. This one here, it says a very happy new year and has a bunch of English sailors practicing swordsmanship, so I like that. This is a very small exhibit on dueling, because I really only have 2 things on it, not counting the fencing stuff, but I've got the dueling epee here and a postcard here that shows dueling in the Louisiana Park, which is pretty cool. I also have very small civilian fencing, or I suppose you'd say athletic fencing exhibit. This guy, I'm eventually hoping to get a full period outfit of a fencing master's outfit. I already have one of many fencing masks. I mean, I just chose that one for the heck of it. But also the plaster on here would be for a fencing master, which I'm very excited to complete his outfit. I've been eyeballing a 1920s fencing coat on an auction site, and I don't know if I want to spend the money on it, but it would be a very nice addition to it. And then this here is one of my favorites. This would be the pirate, or at least pirate age, golden age of piracy, etc., exhibit, which is obviously incomplete and a bit scattered, but whatever. It's got some really cool artifacts. We've got this 1700s cutlass, which is, a lot of people identify as the 1747 model infantry cutlass, but it is not. It has some very unique characteristics. You guys might not be able to see it, but I have the one of the houses of Solingen, Germany, on the base of this blade, which I also have on a small sword in the workshop. So it's very cool. I also have this small sword, which I will be cleaning today because, gosh, it's gross, and I really need to start preserving this thing, even though I've been too scared to touch it because it's so old. But I cleaned up an old small sword the other day, so I will be cleaning this one up. I have a bit more experience. Obviously, I cleaned that one up a bit. And then this guy down there is cool, but I'm not going to touch him yet. And these guys up here are very cool. These are one of my prize collection, but a lot of people don't know what they are. These are actually a set of gymnasium sabers, arguably. The only official terminology I've seen them described as is combat swords, though obviously they're for practice. You can see with the rounded bits. But they all came from the same location, a lodge in Wisconsin. That's honestly all the info I have on them, unfortunately. But they were used as a set. I purchased them as a set. So this is the original. Like, eventually when I have a public location, I want a wall to be reminiscent of a fencing gymnasium with these guys displayed on it, which would be fantastic. So, very cool. So I'm going to make my way to the workshop to show you guys what my latest additions that I'm proud of are. First of all, this is my pile of things that need to be cleaned, which has some cool stuff on there. Oh, this before I forget, this guy right here with the asymmetrical guard is that French one that I mentioned earlier that came with those foils upstairs. Very cool. I need to clean that guy up a bit. But, and let me put my phone here in the slot. I don't know if this is actually going to show off or not, but hey, I have 2 free hands. Oh my gosh, that's way too close. How's this? A little bit better. All right, so I'm going to have to double check. There, I think. Hopefully you guys won't get like seasickness from looking at this, but so I'm gonna have to double check. But both of these are both Mensur swords, and the blades are in here, and the grip and everything is in here, probably from the 1920s. And this is a very fantastic thing to have because these two swords, which we're going to put together in just a minute, are essentially the practice version and the official version of Mensur fencing of one particular guy from one particular fraternity, which is very cool, and I am very happy to have them in my collection because they deserve to be preserved, etc. So very cool. I did have another Mensur blade, and here's the third Mensur blade that I've had in my collection that needs to be cleaned. Probably a little older than this one because this one has this little add-on, and I believe the 1920s, we'll have to double check. Nonetheless, this is fantastic. I really want to find out what material this is, and I want to find a way to clean it safely. But I haven't even looked at this yet, and I can actually already see that there's writing on here. 1927, it looks like, right here, which is very cool. Obviously I don't speak German, so I don't know what the rest of it says, but it has all this wording right here. And a little, it looks like an initial down there. And unfortunately this other one here does not have any markings on it. But we're going to try to put these together, or at least see if we can clean them along the way to the point where we can put them together. So feel free to stick around for that if you'd like. We're going to take a quick look at the details on this here blade, which is phenomenal. First of all, I don't know why there's tape on it. That is frustrating. And I'm going to try to take that tape off. I don't know why that's there. That ought not be there. So these were 1927 is when they were, or at least this one. Now, the other thing is I don't know which blade goes with which one. I haven't even taken this blade out of its shipping paper yet. So this one's obviously a beautiful blade. Obviously a gorgeous blade. It has some work that went into it, and you can see along the edge it's very chipped, which means it was definitely used for sparring. Sparring, obviously, it takes a unique term when it comes to Mensur, because it's not necessarily about skill with a blade, but more so about skill as a strong individual who can withstand getting cut in the face without flinching. So what is, maybe this is protecting a mark down there? I don't know. There's a little stamp right there, and I'm not sure why. It's almost like people didn't clean this tang because of that Japanese, like, don't clean the tang so you can tell how old it is. So I don't know about that. But we're going to put some light, we're at least going to do some light oil on this to just at least embellish what we can see. It looks like that might even be plated, at least down here, so I don't want to damage it too much. It's definitely been etched, and very cool stuff. So we'll do that in just a minute. Try to put the whole thing together, and let's unwrap this boy right now. So let's take a look at this. Wow, this one's actually decorated too. Well, now I don't know which one goes with which. This is cool. Wow. That's awesome. This one has a bit less decor. But it's also sharp. So now I'm not really sure where it goes, to be honest. It's not that sharp. Leipzig. I don't know what that means. I'll have to figure that out. Very cool, very cool. So, let's, I guess, compare the differences first of all between the two. Okay, so the fancier one has a longer and a curvier tang. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that the curvier tang goes in this one. So that's what I'm going to assume. Fancier one goes in the fancier sword. So let us work on the less fancy one first. Well, we're going to put you, my friend, what's friend in German? My friend, my brother, because fraternity, I guess? I don't know. Let's see about cleaning you. Look at this. Bits of leather right here. Very, very cool. I'm going to have to figure out what they're for, and I'm getting a little excited, and I need to focus on doing one thing at a time, which is this particular sword and blade. And one thing I did notice about this grip, which is tiny. First of all, I do have another one of these. Let me go grab that one. I'll be right back. Okay. So here's a complete one, and I cleaned it, at least I cleaned it a little bit recently. Has no markings on it. Probably a little bit older, but probably not by much. Maybe 1890s or 1900, and then this one be 1927, I assume, because it came as a pair with the other one. But very cool. So this is the complete one. I'm gonna put this off to the side because I cleaned it, or at least mostly cleaned it. Cleaned it to the point where I'm acceptable with it, which is all I can ask for. But one thing I noticed about this new one is that the wire wrapping or rope wrapping is coming off. It's in pretty rough shape. So I had a choice. You can see that on the top here, the rope split. This was attached to the end of this one, and it looks like a little bit split off even more. But you can see it was tucked in up here into the top of it. So I could pull this guy out and try to tuck this one in, or I could just glue it down, which I might do. I'm not happy about it, but I might do that just to maintain as much of the original parts of the sword as I can, which I think I'm going to do, because it looks like it just wrapped around here. It almost looks like it wrapped around and then broke. Boy, I don't even know. I mean, I could remove it and just tuck it up there, like that. There's plenty of it up there to do so. But then I run the risk of it not even working, and it looks like it's been glued in there too, so it might even not work. Tell you what, I'm just gonna, man, I hate using glue on artifacts. It's just not good. It's just not, it's damaging. Any sort of adhesive is not good. I'll save that decision for later. So let's see what we can do. So firstly, I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know why that's there, but we'll see if that comes into play in a little bit. But let's try to put this boy together. See what we can find about it. We are going to snag. Oh look, this one says 24 on it. Is that? Oh no. 12/24, so the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve, unless it's not 12. And then it has 1920, and then the number is scratched off, but it kind of looks like 3 under there, based on where. So 1920 is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. Pretty gosh darned cool. So the grip goes in here, for sure. And then we're going to take this here nut off. I'll put that down. Put this and take this nut off and put it up in there. But before we do that, I want to put a layer of protective oil. And it looks like there's a bit of active rust I'd like to try to get off. So, oh man, very cool. This is very cool. So let us see what we can do. We are going to move that. And I'm just going to use some rough sponge. I don't want to damage the metal, so use something softer than the metal but harder than the rust, which this works perfectly. Take, let me just try it raw. See what I can do with that. Not too much. Actually, where's my... Is it under here? Yes, sort of. This is not my brass brush. Actually, oh, here it is, brass brush, perfect. This is, I love this. Brass brush for getting in these, like in between the threading here, and just getting rid of the rust. And the brass is, as we said before, softer than the steel, but harder than the rust. So it's perfect for not damaging the sword, especially if you use soft strokes, and removing the rust at the same time, which is perfect. And by the way, you do want to remove active rust, which is it's kind of orangey spots here, because active rust is what eats into the steel and causes pitting. And it looks like there was some pitting here on this sword at one point. Someone must have cleaned it, but you can see all these like marks and stuff on it along the blade. That's from rust eating into the steel. So you definitely want to get rid of it fast so it doesn't eat into that kind of stuff. But it looks like other than that, it's been fairly well cleaned. You know, maybe not polished. And if I ever wanted to polish it, I can put it through the polishing wheel right here. I'm not sure if I really want to do that right now. I really like this P print right here. I wonder if that's a maker's mark or a proof mark. You know, someone, but that'll be for another day. For right now, let us oil this baby. And the oil is used to prevent moisture, even just moisture in the air. Prevent that from causing the rust in the first place. So basically I cover all my artifacts in oil. And a lot of people will recommend Renaissance wax. I have yet to make an artifact to the point where I'm happy with it, to the point where I think Renaissance wax is necessary. I just keep thinking I'm going to clean everything more and more and more, and obviously never have the time. But one of these days, when I'm able to work full-time for my own museum, maybe I'll have time for it. S-R is pretty cool, too. It's right here on this side. I like that this is very well preserved, roughly. I mean, there's lots of pitting, but I don't have to do much to it. It looks like it's been cleaned, which is pretty cool, if you ask me, because that's less work for me to make it in a presentable condition, which I like. I got these, by the way, from my friend Steve, S-T, has multiple E's, so I don't really know how to pronounce it, but he is French-Canadian, so bonjour, my friend. And, yeah. Oh, it's Steve! Hey, you're watching! Hey, buddy! This is your swords. Or they were yours, they're mine now. So I'm very happy with them. I'm gonna have to do a ton of research. I have a few friends on Facebook that know a bit about German Mensur blades. And they'll probably be my first go-to about, you know, what to do to identify these things. You know, one thing I like about the oil rust, is that it gets into the little lines that were engraved into the sword. So it kind of embellishes the designs and allows us to take a closer look at what the artist / swordsmith originally wanted us to see. Pretty cool. Gosh, the sword is just slipping all over the place. Very cool. It looks like the etching... There's definitely etching right here. This is engraving. Looks like a bit of etching that's probably faded. And then it kind of stops right around here. So, pretty neat. One thing I'm curious about Mensur fencing is... One, oh my gosh, this is a sharp blade. I don't know, maybe someone sharpened it, but I didn't think these particular blades were supposed to be sharp. I thought these ones, which I believe are Schlager, if I know my terms right, and I probably don't, and also I probably pronounced it horribly, were for practice, whereas the other ones were more for the ceremonial combat. It's actually kind of cool. I mean, even up until the 1940s, I actually think Hitler put a stop to it. But Mensur fencing was like it's essentially a ritualized combat into the 1900s. We have people alive who probably fought using Mensur fencing. Maybe not, I don't know. But well, I mean, I guess it's still apparently an underground, like it's still active, apparently illegal, but that's supposedly. I don't even know if there's been any serious publications made on it, but there might be out there. So that blade's nice and oiled. I am going to take a clean rag, or at least a clean part of a rag, and wipe the excess oil off in case it picked up any dirt, which it might have. I can't tell if that's rust in there or remnants of like engraving, like gold, like gilding. It might be. Right here. You guys can't see it. There's definitely some golden stuff in there. So, very cool on this one. Let's put this guy together. Or you know what? Before we do that, I'm going to leave this here, but I want to at least... See, you can see there's still some active rust on the inside of the guard here, right around right around this here mouth. So we're gonna try to clean that off before we put this back together. There, look at that. There's definitely, oh man, I love it, but it's like it's gonna be impossible to restore this because this is gilding. It's chrome or German silver, I think is what the term is. Plating on it to make it shiny, but unfortunately that stuff it's a flake. It flakes off. So it's very fragile, and so I probably won't be touching this top part, especially because I don't want to damage the writing on it before recording the writing on it. So, but we'll see what we can do. I might oil these parts that the chrome plating came off, and maybe it will help, because you can see the writing. The writing is clear here. Clear here, but it's difficult to see, but it's still faded on this part where the chrome has come off. In any case, let's just clean the underside so I don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, let's put this down here and get my brass brush. Fortunately, there's no plating. You know, the fun thing is that this one might have the German silver plating on the outside. The other one that I showed you earlier, the complete one that I cleaned, is actually got blackened plating on it rather than the shiny stuff. So I'm wondering if this one might actually also be for combat, and the other one wasn't, even though they're of the same Schlager design. I'm not sure. I will have to look into it. All right. I'm not able to get any rust from in there, out of there. There's not too much, fortunately. But let's see about cleaning and oiling the inside of this. And I'm actually going to use not a sponge, but probably a rag. Yeah, just so I can get into the curves of it. So, anyone play Super Smash Brothers? I see Sephiroth was added, which is Final Fantasy VII, which is one of the Final Fantasies I haven't played, even though it's super popular, apparently. See, I was a Nintendo kid, not a PlayStation kid. I was humble, so I never got that opportunity. But they made a remake, so maybe I'll play it. Personally, I'm on board with Sora joining the game, but oh well, that's probably never gonna happen. Oh boy, yeah, I don't even want to touch that right now. It's just so fragile. Yeah. Okay, so let's put this. Oh shit! See, some of it's even coming off. Ugh. I want to put this together so basically I don't have to touch it anymore. So you can always tell the front of the guard because it has the knuckle bow in the front. It protects your fingers. So this is the front, how it's held. And I'm going to put the grip in without hurting or trapping any of the loose ropes. Put that in right there. Fortunately, it's perfect because swordsmiths actually cared about their work back in the day. Obviously, this isn't that old, but there we go. And put the blade in. You can tell the front because the fuller is on the back, and obviously there's a flat part right here too. So that goes towards the back. Stick it in. Unfortunately, there's no throat leather thing. Oh, come on, please. Please go in. Oh man, it's just, I don't want to force it. It's always bad. Okay. Come on. I know know that we took it apart so the delivery wouldn't be so expensive, but this is also bad. Man. I don't want to hurt it. Really don't want to. This rope is coming off. Okay, let's try this again. There, okay, so we can see it goes through. See, up there, even through that little doodle. Just missing the grip. The grip is right at the back, not this front, it's in the back. Oh my gosh, rope, please. Decision might have to be made for me to glue it down or not. Just so we don't hurt it further. There we go. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this upside down? Yeah, this is upside down. Oh my god, I hate myself. Because you can see the hole at this side is wider than the hole down there, and it just doesn't make it doesn't make sense why it'd be so whatever. Okay, let's try this again. Rope, please don't do that. Maybe I'll find a rubber band or something around here that I can hold it together without it unraveling. We'll take care of that later. That would explain why it wasn't fitting together. There we go. Yes. Thank you. My God. Perfect. Ha-ha! Beauteous. Goes, fits like a glove. Lastly, we've got this here nut to put on. This is, usually nuts are an indicator of a replica sword, but because this is a fairly modern sword, with its modern Mensur history, it actually has threading and it's fine, which is unusual. And do I have any? Yes, I do. Finishing touch, a Q-tip. Oh God, put a little Q-tip oil on there. Just get it in that threading so it doesn't rust in place either. Obviously I'm not able to like scrub in there, at least I don't have the equipment for it, but at least the oil will prevent anything from fusing together. I don't think it will, but you always want to prepare for the worst. And look at that, how beautiful it goes on. Ta-da, oh my God, almost ta-da. Do I want to wrench it? No, I don't, but I might have to. Not gonna put this directly on. I'll take this rag. That way I'm not actually hurting anything. There we go. Please. Yes, nice and snug. Good. Good. See, grips in like that. Very cool. Again, this is a 1923 German Mensur Schlagers of the German fraternal fencing tradition. Very cool. All right, I want to do something with that rope. Here, I'll flip it around so you guys can probably see it a little better. All right, let's. This rope is a mess, and I don't even know where to begin with it, but we'll figure it out. It's also very good to see that rope grips are part of original swords, because that, if you watched earlier in the video, you saw the gymnasium saber I had upstairs, and I showed off that it had a rope grip, and I thought that was added on. It still might be added on, but this one definitely was not added on. Man, I wish I knew how to hold it down, but I don't know how. I don't have anything to hold it down. I mean, I could probably tie some leather, but I'm not going to. All right, this one for now is finished. I don't want to muck with it too much, and I definitely want to record what that writing is and translate it, which we'll do later. Let's put this one away with its brother. It's fairly cool. And this one, which is going to take even more delicate cleaning, because this whole blade is gilded. So basically what I'm going to do is take a clean part of this rag, oil it up with some clean mineral oil, rub it down. You know what? I do want to get rid of that tape, which was covering up that edge. I have no idea why people think that tape is going to do any sort of protection against any markings, but we'll go ahead and take a look. Okay, clean. RV, it says right here, RV. And nothing on this side. I'll take this nut off. Ooh, there's a bit of rust under there. Yeah, we'll make sure that gets cleaned up. Let's do that right now, actually. Yeah, that came off nice and good. That wasn't anything bad. Too bad. Wasn't anything too bad. Clean that up. All right. Going up the blade. More oil. The more oil, the better. Just everything oily. Oil everything. Forget about acne. It's gonna happen. Flip it around. Yeah, this was definitely decorative. You guys can see here a little bit, maybe. See how there's just a little bit of black background remaining right here? This whole thing would have had a blackened background, and it has been cleaned at some point and removed, which happens. But this one, you can also see the bite marks here. Not bite like teeth, but bite as in it bound with another sword, which is very cool. So this one was used for certain at some point. Obviously you can't tell. The problem with these etched blade, or these gilded or coated blades, I suppose, is that you can't clean them traditionally, and if you try to, you ruin it. So I've had a few ideas on how to clean it and a few suggestions, which I'm going to try, but not on this one, because this is a fairly important one and very relevant to the museum exhibit. And honestly, with those two swords, I'm pretty sure for now the Mensur fencing exhibit is probably complete. I'm probably not in need of any more artifacts for that exhibit, which is very cool. Unless, of course, unless something else fascinating pops up, like maybe a complete matching fraternal outfit, which would be amazing. If anyone has it, if anyone has one, just let me know, okay? It would look really flamboyant, like a guy wearing a suit fell into a vat of markers. Just that's what it looked like. If you have that, that would be cool. All right, that's cool. Now I'm just picturing zoot suits, which are very different than Mensur outfits. Okay, so a couple cool things. One is, I don't know where this nut comes from. This probably was added later, this bolt. But the leather is not. The leather does go there somehow. And I'm not sure if it is supposed to be a leather loop at the top for your finger, or a loop at the bottom for your pinky. And I wish I knew, but I don't. So what I'm gonna do is, or maybe this one goes at the top and bottom. There's definitely imprints on it. And probably, let's take a look. Okay, so you can see at the top here, it has a square imprint. And this is square too. I'm gonna vote this one goes up here. I'm guessing. Oh man, I really love that fabric. God, that's so cool. This is gonna take a lot. I don't even know if I'm gonna touch this one. It's just so beautiful. Man. 16. I wonder if that's a size or something, but in any case, let's just put this stuff together. Maybe like that, so you can grab it. That's what I'm gonna guess. I mean, it could also just be this goes up there, which might be like that. No, that is too small. That does not go up there. No, that definitely does. Nope, definitely does. Has a little bend right here that matches the imprint. Then where's this one go? At the bottom? We'll figure it out. All right, let us take one look at the grip. Careful. Unfortunately, there's not too much to save with this one. I have a different one back at my workshop, which is much, or not the workshop, the exhibit, which is much better preserved than this one. Actually, you can see this one here at the top has some chagrin still on it, and obviously it's missing most of it. But the other one is covered in chagrin. But I because this is one complete sword with one complete set, I want to keep it together. It's like having a complete. I don't know. Hopefully, you guys can understand. I want to keep the sword that was made together, or at least assume made together. But you can see it has a couple other things here. You can see these lines, which probably had some wire or rope on it at some point. And obviously the chagrin, which is very cool. So I think this one's done. I don't think we need to clean anymore. So I can tell which side's the front for two reasons. One, it has the chip marks in here. You're going to hit with the front and the back. And also it curves forward this way, curves like that, which is more ergonomic for the hand. So I'll try to put that together with the front. You can also tell which side of this is the front, obviously, because you're going to be protecting your hand. So let's just try to put this together. Beautiful. Ah! Okay, nothing happened. Beautiful. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can tell, this is a whole metal sheet here protecting it. Looks like it took an impact on this side at one point. It's pretty cool. See that right there? But in any case, maybe that goes like, yeah, this one definitely goes like that. Oh, there, definitely goes like that, because you can see the imprint right here, the rounded imprint of this part there. So we're going to put that together in that manner. And then this one, you guys, just knowing Mensur grips, has this cutout thumb area right here like a joystick. So I know that it's held up front like that, not like that, because there's no thumb area right there. So it goes in like that. So let's try that. But first, we need this leather washer on there. And there we go. And this, I have to figure out what to do with that one. Maybe this actually, you know what? I think this round part actually goes there. So that's going to go up in this way. Come on, come Haha. And lastly, where'd that bolt go? There it is. Very, very cool. There's a lot. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. A lot of things you guys might not be able to see. I'll try to point out. The fabric and stuff is lightly held on with these brass wires here. The three colors, green, yellow, and blue, you can use that to identify which fraternity it belonged to, which is something I'll do later if I can find the resources for it. Unfortunately, this is such a small and, to us English speakers, foreign world that there might not even be resources that I can access. God, that's so pretty. Unfortunately, it's going to take a hell of a lot of preservation work or restoration work because it's just so delicate with the fabric. God, I even want to clean the fabric, and I'm not sure how to do it gently enough. And then, of course, we talked about the plating. But it's beautiful. Beautiful. It opens up new realms that I need to do research on for how to best preserve this. But very cool. And you can see the guard here, the other one in my collection. It's missing so much. It's missing the colors. It's missing the plating. But very cool nonetheless. And boy, this one here is very cool. I'm not sure what this little doodad here, this little is for. I think it's for holding on the hip, so you can just carry it. I might have to take a look at some of my photographs. Tell you what, guys, let's go do that. Let's go look. I'm going to grab the photo, or grab the phone. We're going to compare this to some of the paper things in the collection. All right. Where's bottom? There's down. All right, cool. So, boy, I don't know. That's the tiny Mensur section. Now I got to find a much larger spot for it. But okay, awesome. So again, we're gonna see if we can find out what that is for. So let's take a look at the images here. Most of these. Here, let's take a close look at this guy. Here, we'll go at an angle so the screen. These guys are doing Mensur fencing. Obviously, the colors don't match the one that we have. It's pretty cool. But none of these guys are holding their sword on their hip. They're all holding it in their hand. So that's not going to help us. Neither are those guys and this guy. And honestly, these photos are not drawn well enough for me to tell whether they have the little hook loop on it. These are probably late 1800s, though. But let's take a look at this carte de viste. This is 1910s, though there's no credence on that, just identifying. Very cool. He's definitely got a darker color, and then a brighter middle color, and then a darker, smaller color. Similar to ours, but probably not the same. And so he's holding it with the hand part down, which means the hook part would be on the opposite side. And unfortunately, we can't tell with that one either. But very neat. You can see that these two that I came with these other guards, these two colors here, yellow, red, and blue, are different than the one we just recovered, which is blue, yellow, green, which is pretty cool, honestly. What I might do... God, I need a room. Guys, I need a museum. I need a warehouse to turn into a museum and a fencing school all in one. I need it! I want to share this with the public! I can't do it! Damn it, COVID! There's so much to clean, too. One of my next projects is this boy right there. It's a French model 1842... 1840 something. French foot officers, infantry officers' sword. And I need to clean that brass up so it's nice and pretty and not so dark and dank. So it's pretty like this guy. So I'm working on that. I might actually do that with this old 1700 sword too. You know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I want to touch it that much. I might do some cleaning, and I might sign off so I can charge my phone and maybe watch some documentaries or something while I clean. You guys are great. You guys are great. Stay supportive. Join the Fishing Museum and Cultural Center and the Swordsmanship Museum and Academy. Oh yeah, Swordsmanship Museum and Academy. And just show your support, and hit me up. I love talking swords and sharing swords and knowledge and information and all that fun stuff. So stay healthy, stay safe. Bye guys.